maybe your self-talk is negative, or maybe you just want to cultivate a good environment, or maybe you live around toxic people, you need to fill your mind with stuff that's positive. So if you haven't learned how to cultivate that on your own, and even if you have, instead of watching streaming or regular YouTube, you need to watch church videos, sermons, you can use and apply to your life right after watching. There's no way that people know about these things and they're just choosing to stay stuck where they are. So my hypothesis is that you guys don't know. That's why I'm here to tell you. Where you are today, I was there a year ago. Wherever you guys are in your journey and you're trying to get closer to God, or, you know, even if you're not trying to get closer to God and that's not your priority and you're trying to better your life and you're trying to, you know, just do better mentally and feel better about your life, God is the way to go, because that's what he wants for you. God literally...
You got a 2-day trial before I take back my time and make you pay. 30-day trial before I made my mind. It is always trials and tribulations.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is My Angel. For those of you who don't know me or who never heard of me, which may be a lot of, I guess I'll start out by telling you guys a little bit about myself. So I'm currently a junior in college. I go to North Carolina A&T. Also recently I have been, you know, strengthening my Christ. What's going on? Okay, hi guys, my name is Angel. Recently I've been strengthening my relationship with Christ. So yes, God has really just been working on me for a long time, but it's really just now getting to a point where it's visible on the outside. So the first thing that I'll just be telling you guys, since my goal here is to help people who are, you know, lost and just looking to figure out their next move, of course with God walking with us and guiding us and leading us as we just go through life. Okay, so I decided I'm just going to start out by sharing with you guys some of the ways in which God has been working in my life and inside of me. Disclaimer, anybody who's, you know, not living a certain way, or your life doesn't look like mine, you don't feel like you're doing something wrong, or you don't feel like, you know, bad about yourself, because that's not my goal. It's just so much, honestly, y'all. Like, it's so much, honestly, don't even know where to start and what to start with or just what to say, but I just gotta say something. Like, it's just so much. But, you know, a year ago from right now, what's today? Today is July 21st. A year ago from right now, even 6 months ago from right now, even maybe 3 months ago from right now, my life, I don't want to say it didn't look like it did right now, because it's not that my life looks different physically, but just I'm different, and it just shows. But so a year ago today, I was probably where all of you guys are right now, just living life on autopilot, just making decisions, living like, I don't want to say living from a place of reacting to what's around you, but in a sense you are, because when you're not necessarily being intentional with what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing, you are living from a place of autopilot. And it's just easy, very easy to be doing things that's not of God, to be promoting things that's not of God, to be serving someone who's not Jesus, which is not of God, to just be doing all of these things. It's so easy, and that's because the world is so evil and the world is just so lost. And I was going to say this for another video, which I think I am, but since I'm saying how, you know, the world is lost, I do want to go ahead and touch bases on that. Influencers. Okay, because influencers are people who are supposed to influence you to do a certain thing, to, you know, buy something maybe, or live a certain way. Influencers, they influence. So as I was, you know, coming to my place of just wanting to be better and do better, and I just felt such, like, I want to say judgment of how people would react to my journey, until I really realized that this world is lost. Everybody in this world is lost. That's why we have influencers who have millions or thousands of followers, but yet they're getting on social media crying, running to us like we can do something about what they're feeling or what they're going through. Like, they're lost. They're just doing what we're all doing, which is just living on autopilot and just existing. But God didn't just call us to exist. He called us to live a life of purpose, a life that is fulfilling, a life that is filled with joy and kindness. And, you know, a lot of the pain that we go through, a lot of the suffering, a lot of the times it is from choices that we make, and it is us. And a lot of times it's not, granted, many of the times it's not. It could be from, you know, just your background, the circumstances that you're currently in, or, you know, it could be your parents' fault or your parents' fault. Like, who knows? But yeah, that's what I want to touch on. Being very careful about who you allow to influence you, because that's something that I struggled with. Like, it got to a point where, like, you know, a couple years ago, I would be sort of battling with if I wanted to be an Instagram model or if I wanted to go full in with my career, because I was, you know, I'm going to school to be a lawyer. So I was battling so hard between the two, and I just never could choose. So I would always say, like, okay, I'm gonna do both. I can do both. I can, you know, be an Instagram model and do this. And it's not that you can't do that, but I feel like I was trying to, you know, base my life and my choices off of either my career or Instagram and, you know, the cultural aspect of it. And this is what is cool, and this is what, you know, my generation do. And, you know, of course it's a way to make money, but as I really got more closer to God, I was able to see how it's not what I wanted. If I would have, you know, got famous off Instagram or whatever the case may be, I probably wouldn't be here right now talking to you guys, because I would be too focused on the money, all the people I can, you know, be around, all the things I could be doing, all the places I could be going. And that is also something that I've learned since I've been getting closer to God, is that God shows up for us in the way that he don't give us the things that we want, because if he would have given us those things that we wanted, it would have led us further away from him, and it would have like sort of drove a wedge between us and our relationship with him. Okay, so I wasn't able to break free from like caring about social media and caring what everybody would say and caring what they would think until I really sat down and thought, and you know, God is calling me to something big right now and I can't play around with it, okay? But yeah, so I really had to realize that all of these people are lost. Like, these people don't got the manuscript to success, or they don't got the manuscript to having a great life, or they don't have the manuscript to getting into heaven, or they don't have the manuscript. They just so happen to get famous. People like them, people think they look good, but it's all surface level. It's about based on your looks, or if you was talking to somebody who was famous, like all of these things that do not matter. And then I realized, like, you know, I don't want to be in their position. I don't want to be however old and lost. And then another aspect of it is you really have to look at your values and what is important to you. And as God was working in me, I didn't realize at the time all that he was doing. I knew that he was doing some stuff because, like, he'd been doing some stuff. But like, he just called me to really reflect on what my values are. So if I could see if that was showing in my life and the way that I was living and the way that I was spending money. Because, you know, if my values are basically securing my future, my family, my health, then okay, my money needs to be reflected buying whole foods, going to, you know, grocery stores and not eating out. My money needs to be reflected in investing my money, saving, taking that out automatically, so it's a non-negotiable. Not shopping every day, getting a wig, taking trips. Like, those, you know, of course are for a time, but right now I need to be focused, and I need to really focus on what my values are so that my life can reflect that. Because if your values are not in alignment with what you're spending money on, what you're giving your time to, then it sort of gets to a point where it's just like, it's not that your values don't matter, but you're not making them matter. You're not prioritizing your values, so you're living from somebody else's values. If you're prioritizing getting famous over having a good relationship than God, then like, you're going to be led into sin. You're going to be led into destruction. You're going to be led into, you know, pain, because everything that God calls us to do is to protect us. And people don't know that. I didn't know that until I started getting closer to God. But yeah, that's the first thing I really wanted to just start a conversation, to be a conversation, just the whole, and it's no shade to influencers. It's nothing. I, you know, watch y'all probably, and, you know, think y'all are pretty and all these things, but it gets to a certain point where it's just like, you know, okay, those are things are nice and fine, but when you have millions of people who watch you, who look at you, and even though you never specifically said with your mouth, follow me, follow what I'm doing, I'm teaching you the right thing, people assume that because you're famous, because, you know, when you got all this many people watching you, but the world is lost. Everybody's lost. Nobody is looking for, like, nobody's even looking for, I mean, some people are, you know, I find people who talk about the right studies, and of course you have to do the work yourself. Like, one thing I definitely can say is, since I've been on this journey and I've grown as a person, and, you know, I just feel better about my life, because there was a point where I just felt so overwhelmed. I felt like life was drowning me. Like, I felt like I was being defeated, and I just didn't know how I would get out of that. I didn't know my way through, but I just kept going, and it was hard and it's heavy. So for everybody who's going through something, or you feel like, it's so crazy, because how I am right now, life was so heavy. It was so hard. I had to hold on to hope and just tell myself, like, it's going to get better, and there's like more. And I did not see myself crying in this video. Wow, it's okay though. But I did not see me right now. I didn't see me being here, but I just knew, like, it was all for a reason. And at the end of the day, I knew, like, I couldn't just give up. I knew that, like, I'm not in a position to just abandon life and just say, like, so I had to keep going. I didn't have no other choice, and that's so sad, because a lot of people, they be feeling like that and they don't have no choice, and they get to a point where they don't want to keep going, just feeling like life is too much and like you can't do it and like you don't see your way through it. You just have to keep faith. You have to talk to God, because God is literally trying to get us to where we need to be. He's trying to get us to those high places, but we hinder ourselves a lot of times, and we don't even know it. We do not even know it. And then another thing, people work to get rich, and that's something that I've learned touching over, like, I think I had like 15,000 saved. Mind you, this is all from me. It wasn't my parents' money. It wasn't like, this is me. And this was when I was 18. I'm 20 now. But having so much money young, I feel like it's such a blessing. At least it was for me. Now, I ain't had it to the point where I was like rich, but I had it. And I was getting it good. But having that young, I feel like that really just allowed me to have a better understanding of not only money, but the way that people spend their whole lives trying to get it. But it's not about the money, because you can have the money, you can have everything, and your mental health not good, your boundaries not right. So now you got people around you who are bringing you down, tearing you down as a person. You feel bad, or you simply just never took the time to learn how to create a healthy environment for yourself. So you got people around you that is just like you feel bad. Like, you can have the money, but you can also have the money and be depressed and not want to live, and all of these things. So it's really not about money. It's really not about money, but the world makes it about money, because in order to live and to be successful and to have food, you have to have money. God never said y'all gotta have money to be happy. That's what the world said. The world took fruits and vegetables and took them off the trees and made you have to buy them. That's what the world did. God didn't do that. God sees all the things that's around us, all the negative things, all the temptations, all the evil things that is around us. God sees them. And that is why, God has so much grace with us. We shouldn't dwell in the things that we do, the things of the past, or, shame, or all of these things. We shouldn't allow it to overtake us, because at the end of the day, God doesn't just see our actions, Your mistakes don't disqualify you from the purpose that God gave to you specifically. Wherever you guys are in your journey and you're trying to get closer to God, or, even if you're not trying to get closer to God and that's not your priority, and you're trying to better your life and you're trying to, just do better mentally and feel better about your life, God is the way to go, because that's what he wants for you. God literally blesses us with a peace that could not be destroyed, could not be taken away. It is a peace that is like no other peace. I hope you guys basically get to where I'm at in your own journey. And some of the things that I just started out doing, which were very easy, just pulling up videos on YouTube of pastors preaching, and the ones that I were led to were Sarah Jakes Roberts and Pastor Stephen Furtick, or Future. I'm not really sure how to say his name, but I don't want to mess it up. Pastor Stephen Furtick, I think that's how you say it. So I watched them ever since like a little bit over a year now. I've been watching them for that long, and just literally starting out watching them, whether that's in the morning time when I wake up, I'm putting that on and I'm watching that. At the time I was like going through a breakup, and my mind was just kind of hectic. And even if you're not going through a breakup and your mind is just always have a lot of stuff in it, or maybe your self-talk is negative, or maybe you just want to cultivate a good environment, or maybe you live around toxic people, you need to fill your mind with stuff that's positive. So if you haven't learned how to cultivate that on your own, and even if you have, instead of watching streaming or regular YouTube, you need to watch, church videos or sermon. These people are giving, real life, tangible advice that you can use and apply to your life right after watching it, that makes sense, that's understandable, that you have real life revelations. And I just feel like there's no way that people know about these things and they're just choosing to stay stuck where they are. So my hypothesis is that you guys don't know. So that's why I'm here to tell you. And then, I said, just watching YouTube videos, some of the things that I started to do recently, but that I haven't always done before. When I said I was, where you guys are, I started to read my Bible, because I've always called myself a Christian, but I've never necessarily read the Bible just on my own. Like in church, you read it, Bible study, Sunday school, but I've never just gone about it and to do it myself, which I've started doing. I'm actually going to show you guys something. I'm gonna add it in the video, something that I've been doing, just writing down stuff that I feel really resonate with me on my desk. Like, it's sort of like a prayer closet, but it's not a closet, it's just a prayer corner. I'm already a kind person, so I'm not really a negative person, but I did start having goals. So that's another thing I'll show you guys. On my desk, I have a paper with basically just up there right now, it says my goals for the week, which some of that is not cussing, waking up at least an hour before I got to leave the house, so I'm not rushing my morning. Just a couple of things that I feel like I need to work on, because I feel like right now in this generation, in this society, people have just gotten so comfortable with staying exactly how they are and seeing nothing wrong with how they are and just loving the way things are. But me personally, when I, because I was in that place too, but when I started to realize that, I don't want to cuss all my life, or, I don't want to smoke all my life, or whatever that thing is for you, we can get comfortable in it because everybody's normalizing it. Other people are doing it. You see no urgency right now to stop it. For say, if you get a job that requires you to take a drug test, but you don't got that job right now, so you chilling right now, you know what I'm saying? So but there still is an urgency, because the way that we live, the way that we live is the fruit that we bear, like the fruit that we produce. So it's a lot, but those are some of the things that I've done, and just praying, talking to God, even if I'm not full on head bowed. And that's something I've learned since I've been getting closer to God, is he never said in the Bible to close our eyes when we pray. I didn't read for myself to find out. That's just something that I heard on one of the sermons that I was watching. Pastor Mike said that God never told us to close our eyes when we pray, so why are we closing our eyes when I pray? So I've been working on not closing my eyes when I pray. But that's something that you guys can do when you're you just feel overwhelmed, or whatever the case may be. Don't call your friend, don't call whoever you call to gossip or to rant. Literally talk to God about it. Talk to Jesus. Just start talking, because he's always there listening. It's just a matter of, are you going to start the conversation with him? So praying, listening to those videos. That's all that I have for you guys for now. I feel like this video just went a little bit of a couple different places. I guess this is just going to be my intro video. So I thank you guys so much if you stayed this long. I love you guys. God loves you. And I pray that we can just all get closer to God, that we can seek him for wisdom, for understanding, for strength, and for support, that we can allow him to guide our paths, and that we can walk with him, and that, you know, no matter what happens in life, no matter how many times we mess up, we run to God, but a little harder and faster every time we fall. Amen.
You can trust in me. I can. You said I can trust in you.